Hi everyone, I'm going to switch to English now. I'm really happy we're all gathered here together. I'm going to talk today about sustainable innovation, what it can do for fashion, what is it, or what do I think it is at least. Basically, I'm a fashion designer who turned into a speaker and writer, basically running my blog. I'm based right now in London, working at Quiller Consultants, and I've studied innovation management, which basically made me go into this thing called sustainable innovation and, digging it out and thinking how it can change the fashion industry, which I found a bit hopeless being a fashion design student, to be honest with you. I'm going to start with this super complex and boring slide, just because my presentation is called Sustainable Innovation. So what the hell sustainable innovation could be? And on this thing, you can see the two main reasons that drive innovation in the market. So you either do it for market purposes, which is basically your company growth, or you either do it for policy reasons, most probably. So you could do it because you're a good person and you want to save the planet, but often it is that there's a policy that makes you change your products to be more environmentally friendly. And the things you can gain, there are much bigger risks connected to that, but also much higher opportunities, which means, your brand and you as a CEO might end up basically as a leader of innovation and as a very important figure, but there's also a lot to lose. So that's something that I would say, like Kasia just showed, that probably Fortune 500 companies do, but not the majority of companies, not to mention Polish companies, I would say. So what I've learned studying innovation management is that probably the best definition of innovation is going to be that it's a successful exploitation of creativity. So it's not only about being creative, it's also about being successful in a business sense. The definition of sustainability, I'm sure you all know, it's basically using our resources in a way that there's some resources still left for the future generations, hopefully in a sustainable and responsible way. And it's a very, very popular and overused term right now, which I'm sure you're all aware of that. And also, creativity is very important in innovation, and the successful innovations are those that your company is probably afraid to take. It's those ones that are risky and there's a lot to lose, just like I showed here. There are massive risks like social inequalities and like environmental change. But what we have to remember about sustainability is that basically it's a yes or no for your business in the future. So if you're looking at long-term planning and about the future of your company and what do you bring to the community and what do you bring to people around you, I think it's an important thing to consider and implement. What I want to talk to you guys today is, so I think we've covered that more or less, what is sustainable innovation. I mean, there's going to be a lot of case studies and examples, so there's going to be more tangible approach to that. Why sustainability is important for the fashion industry and what the brands do about it, how technology can facilitate that. I hope I can answer these questions, although Kasia is a geek, so ask her if it's too complicated. Why sustainability for the fashion industry? So I guess you all know what is that. This has been a major driver for the industry to start doing anything. I mean, the industry has been doing something. It is still sticking to the practices that the industry has been using before 2013 when this happened. But this has been a massive push from consumers. Why? Well, because this happened. And what is this? Yes, this is Fashion Revolution. This is basically a screenshot from my computer, me being a volunteer for Fashion Revolution in like 2016 or 17. And what Fashion Revolution is doing is basically doing one very important thing. It is evaluating brands based on their transparency, which is called Fashion Transparency Index. And it is engaging consumers all around the world. And this is something brands cannot ignore because this is all over our Instagram for at least one day a year. And it's sustainability. So this is really a game changer for this term and putting it on on everybody's agenda. That's another consequence just after Rana Plaza. It's an anti-fashion manifesto by Lee Edelcourt. And Lee Edelcourt is the queen of trends. So we don't necessarily have to care about why somebody says it's the end of fashion. But if Lee Edelcourt says that, I think we should care a little bit. And here are the things she mentions. Of course, 1,138 people died, and that's mostly garment workers, women in Bangladesh. And this is a woman who's been profiting from existing fashion industry for like 40 years. And now she says that, and this has been really a massive change that year. That's 2015. She also talks about collaboration as something that is lacking in our industry. And I guess if any of you are fashion students or something, it's always a very interesting topic to discuss, especially compared to tech, which I guess is much more open source and collaborative. What do brands do about it? So this is a 2020 forecast, so it's just about tomorrow, and this is all about us and who we are as consumers. So basically, we are all a media channel because, of course, it's pretty obvious with our smartphones and cameras and amazing Instagram channels. But everyone could be a factory because we could all be 3D printing things and selling our things. And everyone also could be a store, which is basically happening with so many apps for like circulating our own stuff. We need brands, but we need them for something else because all these things we could do ourselves, right? So that's a bit loaded slide as well. What do brands do about it that's sustainable? So brands, vintage is the new black, I heard. That's very in line with what I'm wearing. So there's, vintage platforms for sharing luxury stuff like the Vestiaire, and there's vintage platforms for selling Generation Z stuff like Depop. There's a lot of sharing, so you don't need to own things. You basically just want to own the experience of those things. And they don't need to be digital. You still can. You were asking about that. You still can, dry clean them and send them back to another person. For that, of course, they need to have certain quality. There are really popular circular brands like Mud Jeans and Adidas that launched this year a circular shoe, which is made of one single polymer, which allows basically Adidas to take the shoe back, shred it into pieces, and transform it into a new shoe, which basically was never, ever possible in fashion before. It's not possible with polyester, it's not possible with cotton. Although Mud Jeans is also using recycled cotton, it's very, very difficult to do that. So technically, circular economy is a very hot term, but it's really complex and difficult to implement. So here's my bit of tech. I'm going to try to be techy. The picture you can see in the back is basically the first proof of concept that's been ever done in the fashion industry using blockchain to track the origin of things and highlight the supply chain in a very attractive and engaging way to the consumer. So it has to be engaging and it has to be attractive to the consumer. And this happened in 2017 thanks to Provenance. You can see the company here. Thanks to Martine Jarglard. You can see her here, and here. And thanks to a transparent company that I happen to be working for sometimes. And that's basically all about transparency and storytelling. So that's the very great value that makes you think again about fashion revolution. Like, surely there must be a better way than just asking the brand who made my clothes. Brands should be wanting to tell me who made my clothes and tell it in a way that I really want to have them, that I really want to stand for what's behind the label. So that's 2017. And then that's 2018. That's Arket, belonging to H&M, selling the first blockchain-tracked beanie in their stores, which was like one item, but you could scan it in the store, find out where it comes from. It was just woven from one thing, so not a very complex product. Like, this has multiple objects that had come from different places. Well, that was just one yarn, just like the jumper, actually. But we've got so much more. So this year, Stella McCartney announced with Google Cloud that they're going to be able to track the entire environmental and social cost of fashion. I don't know how they're going to do this, and this is just tracking. So this is not even of this certain product, but of fashion, all of it. So they are starting with cotton and viscose, as these are the most popular fibers that we are wearing. There's another luxury brand. There's another luxury brand doing that. That's Alex. So Alex, actually, if you go to their stores, you can already track where the things are coming from, see it on your phone, and share that, experience it as another level of the brand. Everledger is on a bit different edge of things because they are working particularly with precious stones and gems. So it's also important to think about it from the point of view of value chain. Like, the value chain and the risks connected with the gemstones are much higher than the value chain of a beanie that Arket shared, for example, right? So it's different stories. So I always get asked about, where sustainability ends and where the PR starts. Well, so all of the Fortune 500 companies and all of the companies in this room as well, probably, you have PR people and you have sustainability people. And often the problem is that PR people and sustainability people don't talk to each other enough because it should be one strategy. I dream about that. And of course, these are the major sportswear players that we all know and we all wear, and they are competing. They are competing on every other level, just like they are competing on the level of sustainability. And just this year, I hate this thing. Just this year, Adidas has launched the circular shoe, like I said before, which is made of circular polymer, and it's just white, very boring. It's called Futurecraft Loop. And the same year, what is Nike doing? Nike is launching a circular design guide, so it's a tool that they want to give to other designers in an open mode thinking so that other people can do circular stuff as well. And this is the on-demand factory of Adidas that's fully automated, operating in Germany. So you can clearly see which brand I like more from this slide. But what is the most sustainable brand of all, in your opinion? Yes, Patagonia is often considered the most sustainable brand on the planet. And it is the brand that is doing things differently, because it's the brand, for example, that owned a big part of land in Patagonia and decided to protect it as a conservation of, natural park. Decided to keep it for conservation and created a natural park there. So I guess it's the only brand in the world, not even in fashion, that ever did something like that. So here's a track of Patagonia that allows you to bring your old stuff, get it fixed, and wear it again. Patagonia for many years now is selling their own secondhand clothing that's fixed so that you can wear it. You don't have to buy it in a second-hand store. You buy it from them, so you know it's original. It's a really great and disruptive model, especially if you think about it, that everybody in the world wants to have a Louis Vuitton bag. And what is Louis Vuitton doing about it? It's letting Vestiaire Collective do all the money on it, with people selling the bag like 3 times. And each person on the way makes money, but not Louis, right? That's a waste in a way. So what is Patagonia doing? It's inviting you to their world of activism and of climate protection. So this is their website where they are showing the environmental concerns that they are engaged with as a brand, and they allow you to transfer the money to those initiatives. So you don't have to pay Patagonia, you don't have to purchase the product, you can still be part of the experience by being a climate activist. So again, this is something that no other brand is doing. And an interesting thing, speaking of PR, is that on Patagonia website, you will not find the word sustainability. They are not talking about sustainability. They are talking about climate activism, conservation, very old-fashioned word, right? They are talking about responsibility, as simple as that. They're just responsible for the products that they put on the market. Anytime they can take them back and fix them for you or for someone else. This is the brand that probably is talking the most about sustainability in the world. And myself, working as a consultant, I can tell you, they get the biggest coverage about sustainability, maybe not in the world, but one of the biggest in Europe for sure. Like if media is talking sustainability, it's talking fast fashion, and it's always bringing that name up. And I don't even have to say it because we all know. Also, it is the brand with very bold, ambitious commitments, like nobody in the world even knows what is a climate positive value chain. It's something they invented themselves. And the very important thing about them is they get as much criticism as they get positive attention. So there's do you know Clean Clothes campaign? So it's an activist campaign fighting for the rights of garment workers. And what Clean Clothes campaign is doing for years is that they base a lot of their campaigns on criticizing H&M for everything they do and telling them they're not doing enough. So there's a campaign called Turn Around H&M, which is talking about living wages in supply chains. So there are benefits and there are the dark sides of speaking very loudly about your bold commitments. Like you always have to be honest and always say that you're not perfect and you're not there yet. And to be honest, they're very good at talking about these things. So it's not a bad point to learn from them how to do it. Some cool case studies of some really sustainable and world-changing brands. So anyone knows them? Yeah. So they're a Copenhagen-based brand with a female founder, Veronika Skuza. So Veronika in the past has been distributing moon cups to women living in poverty. And now what she's doing is she's employing empowered women working in jails in Thailand, for example, and Peru, to make luxury products to be sold to European and American clients. So this way, the imprisoned women can earn the living wage. They can save the money up. So in that way, when they get out of jail, they're actually richer than they were in the past, and they're not getting back into the cycle of poverty and crime. So this way, fashion is showing that it can have a positive social impact and not just be an exploitative industry. Mud jeans, I mentioned before. Mud jeans are the first circular jeans in the world. You can buy them, but you can also rent them. So again, rather than you renting from Wear the Runway or Biblioteka Ubrań, you can rent directly from Mud Jeans. And Mud Jeans are using organic and recycled cotton and many other great things, and they are doing that since 2013 already. So they're a quite established name. Now these guys are a new name, but the reason I'm showing them is that they're answering the biggest challenges for the fashion industry. So everybody would like to make fashion circular. Like, I'm taking this off, we shred it, and we make a new garment. But this is just very, very difficult to keep the quality. So what these guys have made, and apparently Fast Company loves them for that, and H&M has gave them money for that because, like Kasia was saying, they invest a lot into startups. They have developed AgraLoop, and they have and they have developed upcycling of textile and garments. So AgraLoop is the kind of thing like Pinatex. So you can use the agricultural waste and turn it into a natural yarn, which is better than making conventional viscose and cutting down trees, right? Because this is based on waste. And another brand that I really, really like is the brand that helped out a lot Burberry, because what do you know about Burberry? Yes, you know that they burn clothes, and everybody knows that. So what did they do after the whole world has found out? They called Elvis and Chrissie, and they asked them, hey guys, we got loads of leather waste, and we know that you're doing these beautiful things out of leather offcuts. Can you just use ours, and we will start this collaboration? So this is a very quick fix. If you want to quickly fix your reputation as a brand, you just call a great startup or a great brand. So Elvis and Chrissie is more than a startup, I would say. They're a certified B Corp. And basically, they're using old fire hoses, which is natural rubber, and they're using leather offcuts to make luxury products in a way that they don't look like offcuts. They actually look like something new and creative. That's good news for sustainability. Apparently, there's a business case behind it. But of course, you ask yourself, so these people that search for the term, do they actually do anything about it? Apparently, yes. But don't trust it because it's ethical consumer report, so there is a clear agenda behind it. They are assuming that we want to be ethical consumers. That's just one side of the picture. But it's a good picture. It's showing spending in the UK, and it's apparently increasing for last 13 years on every category, including ethical clothes, including ethical home products, food and drink, and most importantly, energy. That's much fresher news. That's from 2019 from the Boston Consulting Group. And if you want to know about the Pulse of Fashion, you should know the report, Pulse of Fashion by Boston Consulting Group. So apparently, for 3/4 of us, sustainability is extremely important. But that's difficult, right? Because we want to fly with planes and travel with cars and, you know, wear stuff. So again, that's opinion versus reality. And the reality is that we have a lot of remaining challenges, and a lot of them are still connected to fashion supply chains the way they work today. So if you look at the no poverty goal, #1, that's definitely connected to workplaces in Bangladesh, Cambodia, China, and anywhere around the world, even in Poland. Reducing inequalities, water consumption, peace and justice, land, deforestation. Basically, I would say probably all of these goals, you could refer them to fashion industry. So it is difficult. And Paul Polman, ex-CEO of Unilever, still said, this is the best business plan we have on this planet. But remember, he is an ex-CEO of Unilever, right? So I'm really excited to see what is he going to do now. Because possibly he's got really good connections to change something, actually. And I'm really happy that climate change, thanks to this girl, is on the news and on the agenda of every fashion brand. And basically everyone in the world. And I hope this momentum keeps up and we can really change the way we do things. Because I think it's all about changing the way we do business. Thanks.